The clock chimed thrice. It was 3 p.m. Sunlight streamed into Commissioner Phillipose's well-appointed living room. The air was thick with the scent of polished mahogany and old books. Phillipose, a tall, imposing figure, hurriedly adjusted his tie. His face, etched with years of experience, held an unusual tension. He picked up a worn leather briefcase from the table. It was heavier than usual, filled with files he wouldn't discuss. His eyes darted around the room as if committing the scene to memory. A strange sense of urgency hung in the air. "Everything's ready, sir." "Good, let's go. We haven't much time." The hands of the clock inched towards 11 p.m. The only sound in Mrs. Phillipose's bedroom was the gentle ticking. She sat by the bedside table, her face illuminated by the warm glow of the lamp. The phone pressed against her ear.
"Yes, dear, I'm all right. Just a little worried, that's all. This sudden trip..."
Silence hung in the air as she listened to her husband's voice on the other end. He reassured her, his tone calm and collected. He'd be back soon, he said. Everything was fine. He ended the call with a promise to call again soon. Mrs. Phillipose hung up, a knot of unease tightening in her stomach. Her husband's reassurances did little to quell the growing sense of dread. Dawn broke, painting the sky in hues of grey and orange. The air in the remote forest was heavy with dew and the scent of damp earth. A group of police officers, their faces grim, gathered around a clearing. The scene that greeted them was chilling. Commissioner Phillipose lay sprawled on the forest floor, his limbs at unnatural angles. His eyes stared vacantly at the sky. His face, usually so full of life, was now frozen in an eternal mask of surprise. This was no ordinary crime scene. This was our commissioner, lying dead in the middle of nowhere. The silence of the forest was broken only by the chirping of birds, a stark contrast to the grim reality of the situation. The officers exchanged uneasy glances. An unsettling absence of clues. Inspector Mehra, a young officer with a sharp mind, crouched beside the body. His eyes scanned the area, taking in every detail. There was no sign of a struggle, no weapon in sight. The commissioner's briefcase lay open a few feet away, its contents scattered. He carefully examined the body. No visible wounds, no obvious signs of foul play. It was as if the commissioner had simply collapsed. "Anything, Inspector?" "Nothing, sir. No signs of a struggle, no indication of what happened. It's like he just died." A puzzle for the force. News of Commissioner Phillipose's death spread through the police force like wildfire. Shock and disbelief were etched on every face. The commissioner was a pillar of strength, a man known for his unwavering dedication. To think that he was gone, and in such a mysterious manner, was unthinkable. The investigation began in earnest. Every officer, from the greenest recruit to the most experienced detective, was determined to uncover the truth. Leads were followed, witnesses interviewed, and every piece of evidence meticulously analyzed. But the mystery deepened with each passing hour. The lack of a motive, the absence of witnesses, and the puzzling lack of physical evidence created a tangled web that seemed impossible to unravel. Days turned into nights, and the investigation continued. The pressure mounted, the unanswered questions weighing heavily on everyone's minds. Who could have done this? And why? Was it a random act of violence, or was there something more sinister at play? The mystery of Commissioner Phillipose's death remained unsolved. The case, with its lack of clues and abundance of questions, became a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface of their world. The case was far from over. It was a puzzle that demanded to be solved, a mystery that begged for closure, and they wouldn't rest until justice was served.